Previously on Balls.
All right, look, we are seeing the toned features of one Jonathan Kaplan on our screens right now on Skype. How you going, Jono? Can you hear me, Jono? Hello, hello. Why is he not here?
Bloody good looking.
He does it. He does it on purpose. He has that pause. Everyone starts panicking. Sound guys start running around, going, "What's wrong with the Skype?"
Meanwhile, he's so cool, calm, and collected.
Mark Andrews used to do that to me in post-match interviews. Ask him a question, he'd just stare at me. I'm going, "What the hell? What's wrong?" And he's standing right there in front of me. I'm going to kill my camera right now, Jono, so we can get as much of your bandwidth as possible. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
You have a delay on this line here, so we're going to have to deal with that. Just looking behind you there, what looks like it used to be a fish tank, you've turned into a display cabinet.
It's actually just the chimney coming up in the inside of the house. So I decided I'll maximize space.
Okay, a bit of feng shui.
Feng shui.
Feng shui there.
No, it's not. It's actually just it's memorabilia. If you just have a look there, it's like a lot of memorabilia.
Gee, what is that? It can't be trophies because you never won any. You're a referee.
No, but I was that good.
That is awesome, eh? I mean, you won Referee of the Year awards and all that kind of stuff, and your Referee of the Month stuff, and you must have got medals for World Cups and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, look, I'm just Darren. You know, I'm a collector of memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a just started off with little ties and little tidbits, and then after a while, I got a jersey here and then. So I've made a quite a strong collection to remind me of the good times when I was running around on the rugby fields of the world.
It's amazing stuff there, and that basically is going to keep in display. You're not going to like auction it or get rid of it. What bottle of wine is that behind you there? There's a bottle of wine there.
That was from Interschools in 4th of August 2000.
Okay.
That was Paul Jim and Paul Boys. It was I think I've ref Paul Jim about 12 times, and it was probably the only game that they've lost.
Really?
And it was the one where Skalkberger was captain. So he hasn't had the best luck with me as a player.
Did you do the small schools like Paul Roos?
Shut up!
Yes,
Don't answer that. One of the big schools, biggest schools. Fine school.
I try and get around a bit, as you well know, and so I try and do the main schools if there's a good derby going and there's a competitive match. But sometimes I like to give those games also to young up and comers, not just to hog all the good games.
I remember going to Jonathan's house once back a couple of years ago, and I remember you had a
name dropper
a fantastic collection of ties.
Yes, I've got a tie collection of about 800 ties.
Yeah, it's insane.
Isn't that illegal, Jono? Isn't that called trafficking?
They're all in his garage.
Some of them on my bed.
As long as it's not tied up and in a cupboard somewhere.
You haven't tied the knot yet.
All right, so we know what you're talking about. Carry on, yeah.
Anyway, you were at my house. Carry on.
Yeah, and you also had a really nice. I think it was a bulldog.
Yes, she died. That was
Sorry to hear that.
My bulldog Ruby. She lived till the age of 9, but she was a really big girl, 33 kilograms of quivering muscle.
Should we call the
And
Tasha?
so eventually she passed on, and I've got 2 others now called Dexter and Lola, and they're equally good looking.
Yeah, Dexter's you had Dexter on the Avatar now and again, eh?
Yeah, Dexter's he's my champion. I always used to just get the female dogs, and then I decided this year that they need a companion, so I got Dexter, and it was the best move I've done, and he's a brilliant dog. Absolutely brilliant.
Speaking of avatars, by the way, my suspicions have now finally been laid to rest because when we were calling up your Skype avatar, your Skype profile picture is Jono looking very happy with 2 Sharks players either side of them, just after they won the Currie Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, obviously, I mean that was a brilliant day, and I had quite a few photos taken on the day, but that's the one that I've loaded.
Awesome stuff. Well, good on you, Jono. Now, listen, you can't have any allegiances yet because we're hearing rumblings that you might be put in the TMO box and might be continuing your career as a TMO. Now, let me just say, yesterday when I heard this, I'm going, why would Jono want to now have to travel around the world and carry on doing this and sit in a TMO box? When surely, I mean, you've been there, done that. You want to put your feet up, relax, go and do some school games and not have to travel so much. Am I right or wrong?
You're partly right. I mean, the travel component is the part that I really found hardest, in the last sort of 5 to 8 years of my career. I was prepared to sacrifice for a while, but then after a while, towards the end, it really got very difficult. I used to think to myself, here I am sitting alone in a hotel room with none of my mates around. The referees travel on their own. And as cool as it is being in a foreign city, it's not as nice as if you're traveling with people. So the TMO issue has been mooted by SA Rugby, but realistically, that is not going to provide me with a source of income that I'm accustomed to. So we've just got to wait and see what the package is that they offer to see if it's a viable alternative post-event. And also, if I do get, if and when I do get different employment, that allows me to do something like TMO.
All right. Well, we wait and see. In the meantime, though, between now and the end of the year, are you just taking it easy? Are you just chilling? What are you getting up to?
Look, Darren, I think for me, I'm in transition now. So those roles of TMO and selection and just staying involved in rugby refereeing is something that I'm keen to do. I've given already 30 years to the sport, so I'm pretty keen to kick on. And it's just a matter of, SA Rugby haven't come up with a permanent post for me. And so, like I said to you, it's very important that I am able to sustain myself. And if I can accommodate both, that would be lovely. That would be my first prize. But at the moment, I'm just keeping fit. I'm doing a few half marathons and just running around. And next year, my sort of mission is to do Oceans and Comrades again. And hopefully, my legs will stand up to that.
I'm sure they will. Probably one of the down-to-earth, normal oaks in the game of rugby, Jonathan Kaplan. It's been a pleasure watching you, and you've been you're probably one of the few refs that is ref. Is that your budgie?
That's my new brick.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, it's like, Jono, he talks to players on the field exactly the same way as he talks to us or anybody off the field. Exactly. He's just a very normal, down-to-earth oak. It's been a pleasure knowing you all this time, and we look forward to continue chatting to you.
That's what I wanted. Sorry to interrupt, but that's also, I think at the end of the day, we're all people, the players as well. As much as we try and deify them because they're really skilled athletes, they're also just people. They're also just trying to find their way in life, and they're no different from referees, except that obviously we've got a slightly different job to do. So the way that you communicate to people often will determine what type of results you get.
Absolutely. And yes, Simon, last one for Jonathan.
Yeah, very quickly, while we got you on the line, Jonathan, we were chatting yesterday about the referee decisions between Springboks and the French, and those two sort of dubious ones, 50-50. What's your take on both of those?
Look, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be vague. I actually didn't watch the Springbok game because I was busy doing something else. But what I will say is that in the previous game with Wales and on the same weekend France New Zealand, there were two decisions where players were ahead of the kicker, and for me they were game defining scores in the context of Test match rugby. I think somewhere along the line, what I'm advocating is not to say that the refs were poor. I don't think that at all. What I'm advocating is a superior system of on-field administration so that we get those type of decisions right. Because we're talking here professional sport, and I'm not sure that those type of decisions have any sort of place in the modern game. And I really think it's time that we collectively looked at ways of improving the lot of the poor referee on the field in in a game which is so complex and so dynamic that it really is impossible for him to get everything right.
Exactly. That's why I thoroughly support adding the aid of technology wherever it can, and in which case it might need someone experienced like a Jonathan Kaplan to be able to actually talk to his colleagues down on the field maybe and say, listen, I think that might have been forward. So actually, if someone on the side of the field who's watching on the monitor, give the ref the heads up to go and check something, as opposed to having to wait for the ref on the field, if he's seen something, to go and check it. And sometimes, as we say, we don't see it. We'll see what happens next year. Jono, thanks very much. I'm sure we'll be chatting to you again during the course of the next year at times. But between now and the end of the year, have yourself a great rest and a great holiday.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you, Jono.
Thanks for the call, and good to chat to you again.
Good to chat.
Yeah,
Cheers,
Jono.
Jono.
Bye, Jono.
Bye-bye. Jonathan Kaplan joining us on Skype from his home in Cape Town.
Visual Radio. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Radio like you've never seen it before. Balls.co.za